They've done it! Those idiots! You can't fire on a government flag! That's crazy! Those pirates just declared war against the world government! You're all going to die! You morons can't challenge the entire world and expect to win! Yeah? Bring it on!
Robin! There's still something I want to hear you say!
Check anti-verification!
Robin. Robin. I can live.
So when it comes to YouTube's ID age verification update that'll happen on August 13th, I have one major question. Why are most big YouTubers not talking about this? Full credits to YouTubers like my man Moist Critical and Subordinary Gamers for talking about this, but you know, most YouTubers, and especially most bigger YouTubers, just don't seem to want to acknowledge this update at all. Like I said, a few big YouTubers like Critical and Mudahar have made their videos, but what about all those other big YouTubers that are normally very vocal on YouTube related updates and situations? And obviously maybe some of the YouTubers I'm about to talk about have made some sort of statement somewhere that I've missed, and if that's the case, I do apologize, but YouTubers like Markiplier, who are normally very active when they talk about YouTube issues, I have yet to see a dedicated video from him about this whole YouTube ID verification thing. In this video, he was talking about AI, so maybe somewhere in this hour and 22 minutes he might have mentioned it, but like I said, I was hoping for like a dedicated YouTube video from someone of his voice and stature. Jacksepticeye is another person who's vocal about YouTube changes, and I was really hoping that there would be some type of statement from him somewhere. Once again, I was really hoping for like a dedicated YouTube video where he would talk about the fact that this is really wrong, and you know, he hopes that this doesn't go through and all this type of stuff. And I understand that even YouTubers of him and, you know, Markiplier's size, they can't really do anything about it. Like, as long as YouTube makes a decision and they're firm on it, then it can't be changed. But I'm talking about spreading awareness. I'm talking about creating unity in our community to be like, you know what, This is fucked up. This is wrong. And, you know, this shouldn't happen. Like I said, I wouldn't be pointing out these two YouTubers specifically if they didn't make videos in the past talking about YouTube issues. I mean, you see these like nudity sex bots that comment everywhere as well saying, oh, I love your video. It was great and inspiring. 1 second after you upload it, and you go on their profile and it's some sort of link to some sort of obscure website. I mean, shit, like I said, if you're going to be asking everybody to give you ID, can we at least fix these problems?
What DPR is talking about is the profile pictures that have the women with the vagina up close shots, so to speak, and with the OnlyFans URL that basically younger ones can basically see, and us adults, especially like me, that's Aries, I don't want to see that.
Losing a little bit of steam in terms of how many people are talking about it. Doesn't mean collectively that everybody should just stop talking about it and just make it seem like, oh, you know, it's not that big of a deal, it's gonna happen, so let's just ignore it. It is. So YouTube is deleting my videos and I will most likely get banned off the platform soon. Me recording this is basically me filming my own eulogy. So about a week ago, YouTube announced that they're going to be making a new AI age verification system on their website. Starting August 13th, AI will be actually evaluating your channel based on your search history, watch history, things like that, and determining whether you are over or under 18. If they determine you're under 18 and you would like to dispute it, you have to provide a video verification, a credit card, or a government ID. So
YouTube, why do this to DPR? He's just basically make this platform safer for us users, especially for us adults, and this is how you're treating him, eh? Hi.
About this, criticizing, making videos about this, criticizing YouTube, saying this is wrong, and saying this is obviously a violation of privacy. And since making those videos, I have noticed that YouTube is actively silencing me. So first and foremost, as I've shown in my last video, hundreds of people are leaving comments saying that they've been unsubscribed. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, that's a glitch on YouTube.
Subscribers are unsubscribed?
Yes, I understand.
YouTube, are you basically becoming a bandit for the Super Mob Brothers?
Level, especially in such an ironic situation. I just happened to be making a bunch of videos recently criticizing YouTube on their AI ID verification.
Not being able to tell that little fucking cat with 2 pillows next to it that they try to make look like an ass so that thirsty young men click it as they normalize sex trafficking on the platform that doesn't allow you to express an opinion bothers you. Change your profile picture to a Clippy and let them know that you're not happy. Clippy never tried to normalize sex trafficking. He just wanted to help. If you're tired of companies saying out loud that the reason they want to keep you from fixing what you bought and paid for is that may take money away from them, change your profile photo to a
Credit to these two boys for basically sharing these really, you're just doing your best hanging there. Oh, because I've been working this on and off for 2 hours because I know this MacBook is really obsolete since it is an early 2010 model, right? And by the way, it's 1 minute before my luckiest time of the morning. And when I'm ordered, because it's 9:33, is the 8th of August on a Friday. And honestly, I 1,001% agree with Deep Humor here. So let me explain, okay? On the 13th, which I don't think this is going to happen, but, you know, let's just say, at least from an Arizona perspective, 30% chance just means it won't happen, right? Think about precipitation, which means when we get rain here, like during, like, monsoon, if we have, like, a chance of rain at 30%, it means it's not going to happen. Now, if it's 60%, it probably most likely will. 70%, it will happen, right? So, the thing is, what he basically have mentioned, also, I had made fun of that dumb, dim-witted, trans-looking Fred employee, YouTube, basically YouTube employee for short, right, to abbreviate, because of how this darn company that all of us enjoy this site on thinks that they're protected to children. Please think of the children. Think about Deon. It's supposed to be Reverend Lovejoy's wife. I forgot her name, that I basically find really irritating because she is so sassy in a bastardly way, thinking that she is so superior to Marge. Yet YouTube is not protected to children, right? I don't know how to explain it. Let's just say, think about zombies in that Simpson episode when Marge wishes she would be Bart and Lisa's godmother, but she turns out to be a zombie. Well, she's in hell for that. So I'm trying to make a little funny census reference. Also, I'm pretty tired because I had to do a lot of imagination in my autistic brain here because I'm not doing this from a script. But as I've been on YouTube since I was 16, I refuse to basically give an ID because 1, I don't have one. 2, even if I do, when I even give out to that, 3, I just think it's really ridiculous that for the ones are underage would basically have their identities being stolen, right? 4, for my parents out there, I'm sure that you don't want to give your info because what if you basically have been hacked or doxxed or whatever, or better yet, swatted like I have personally, especially the swatting part. Don't get me started. And 5, didn't we supposed to not give out our info that YouTube mentioned when I basically first joined in back when I was 16? I remember when we had I hope it's okay if I just make it a little bit blank because a lot of people one time moving images. It's give me a headache. Gotta do all this. You're not supposed to give out your info online. Even though back then for me, let's just say this is a different period. Let's just say that back then it was really safe of me to give out my phone number for people to contact me. Now, I can't even do that. Or I may get a little paranoid if I would give out my Instagram. You know, I don't because it's in public. But for some people, though, they would have it on a private. And I don't blame them because of how stream sniping and people that would like to just dox people. Look at Cyberwolf, for example. Yeah, she's still on YouTube. She should have been off of YouTube or have her darn sloppy reaction channel deleted eons ago. But it hasn't. And yet for someone like me that wanted to talk about a video of ginger guys, or talk about my belly button fetish, right? Or Wesley doing the little, hot nolly career with his stomach. YouTube, whom basically is a grown man, by the way, an adult teen, if that makes sense, they would basically think, oh, you know what? This is inappropriate. But you're allowing basically pornographic material on the site. And basically what Deep Humor has mentioned, UTTP, which is basically these dumb-witted, I think they're supposed to be teens behind it. Some of them are. I don't know. I don't watch this fin. I just know they're terrible people that would have access to child sex abuse material. It's basically a more professional, or I guess you could say appropriate way to say it than child porn, right? Because, well, someone of under 18, that is considered children by the law, right? Even though they can get in trouble, let's just say if you're like 16, 17, for example, lying by your age, they don't consent for that, if that makes sense. Even though sometimes they're with adults, which is equally predatory or whatever. I don't know. Also, I did change my profile picture to a Clippy or an autistic fatherly Clippy because I basically did feel inspired by Luis's video as well of how basically using a Clippy image to your channel for anyone that is viewing this, you don't need to, okay? Because I know my viewers don't, even though one of them named Slade has, is basically to fight up against YouTube's, let's just say, hashtag anti-verification, right? Because of how they wanted to basically pull off, or I guess you could say enforce, the 1984 law. Basically, let's just say the CCTV or Chinese law, right? Because I know in China, they're really strict with their basically cameras and facial identity, right? Even though it is a safe country, it is. It's just that in some parts in China, they may be a little bit much on that, right? I don't know, though. I have no idea, because China is huge, okay? Just like here in the U.S. Each city is different. I know out here in Phoenix, though, which is really neat, that we actually have the little, for ambulances or sirens, they would basically have the flashing white light. Obviously, I think I have like a video of it, but I don't remember, though. I don't know if other cities do this, but it really helps for emergencies. We take emergencies really crucial out here. You'd be surprised of how much I had to call 911, especially for a Navajo man that basically overdosed on fentanyl. Long story on that. It basically only took him 4 to 6 minutes to get to our destination. And let's just say we're not even that close to, let's just say, the ambulance or fire department that want to save that man. Yeah, we basically take this serious out here, right? It's like that. It actually makes sense. And of course, with the speeding, with the speed cameras, so those we definitely need for people that would drive about with or without the head and taillights on to basically car accidents. Absolutely. So I had to say this because I would put more detail. I'm just really exhausted because I want to make a little funny, let's just say, One Piece meme out of this, or basically Deon in a One Piece universe against the YouTube headquarters, right? Because I don't tolerate what they did to my channel, especially since I got 2 guideline strikes and I get paranoid thinking that, Deon, you may lose your channel, for coming out of videos, because then next thing you know, it'll just get wiped off. I will lose my account, like they will just log me out and guess my rel, and oh, you know what? We noticed that when you order videos, we're talking about basically hot man, so we're gonna remove it, but we're gonna allow hentai ads, because you know what? We think that's more appropriate. You know, for characters that look well underage, well, for you to have a hot, shirtless man, that's not okay. Basically, YouTube is practically homophobic. So, what a coincidence. You know, sometimes I always wonder why people, like, blanket, for homophobes, I do get why they're like that way, which I don't really agree that they should be, but I do tolerate why they're like that. They basically met some people that were part of the gay community that mistreated them or sexually take advantage of them. I do not blame them, but if it goes to the effort that they would assault someone of loving the same sexual orientation, then that's when it gets really too far. So I'll probably post it on the backup channel, right? I would like to post it on the main channel, but didn't be on a safe side. I want to post it on here or whatever channel it is, the one with the autistic paper clip, right? I don't know. I'm going to do that. The reason why I have that profile picture is because I got a little reference on The Simpsons, right? Of how Clippy actually had 3 kids, which is adorable. Also, Family Guy, they did a reference of that too. When Stewie says, "Go away, paperclip, nobody likes you." Wrong, Stewie. Wrong. We do love the paperclip. Basically, is a unique, little, cute, let's just say, virtual, Deon, it's supposed to be a virtual object, a virtual living object that basically guides you on, let's just say, your Microsoft Word, whatever you basically had to type in for essays or basically business plans. My mother used to do that all the time when we used to fly, right? When we would abort on flight, right? And I would sit on her lap. This was back in the early to mid 2000s. It was a different period back then. So other than that, I just want to give credit to these 2 boys here. And I just hope to put this belly that my videos have been educational in a way. And I'm going to keep cutting more videos because, 1, I do miss my Proper 260 so badly. 2, I basically think we're just so darn much. Say Richard, for basically visiting the live stream yesterday from reading my comments. And thirdly, I want their voices to be heard, even though Richard, he's making a huge impact. I'm just too lazy to screenshot everything because my iPad will freeze and I don't get a migraine. That so many people, there's probably over maybe, what, Dan, like, blanket 9,000 type of different people that would change their profile picture to Clippy in different forms. It kind of reminds me of that politician that, not from South Park, right? I don't know much about politicians. I know J.D. Vance is supposed to be Donald Dump's, let's just say, sidekick or something, or president kick, whoever I want to call it. So let's check some averages. Presidential sidekick, to basically have people follow follow his, I guess you could say, amazing CEO advice to YouTube that we cannot be pressured to give out our identity. Okay, literally, I'm pretty much against AI to an extent. Let's just say Google AI, that's totally fine. Of course, people use ChatGPT, that's totally fine as well, to an extent, right? Same way you're using Wikipedia. As long as you don't plagiarize, which means you basically copy, well, I think maybe blanket half a page, maybe a few sentences at one time you can, I suppose. Up to a paragraph, maybe, right? Because I remember I did study about that back when I was in high school. But other than that, I just want to make a little update, and it's a minute after my lucky time in numeral order from 9. It was past 9:43 a minute ago, in my 20 zodiac sign. So other than that, I just want to give a little update because I just think it's just barbaric for YouTube to thinking that, oh, you know what? For 13 to 17-year-old teens who are old enough because they are of age to basically set up or create a YouTube account, why should they be forced to watch, let's just say, Cocomelon? Oh, Buddha, don't get me started on... I'd rather have... For the parents that have little ones, right? I highly suggest that they would view Blue's Clues, Bluey, Franklin, The Berenstain Bears, Sydney Silver, even Teletubbies, except for that lion episode that basically traumatized the little ones. So I random word of the day, bear. I don't know. And honey bear, right? I think we should use the word honey. Yeah, random word. If you viewed this all the way through, type in the word honey or the emoji, right? Or honey bee. Okay, I think that sounds nice. You know, the bee, the pot of honey, right? Or puddle honey with... Oh, if you do it, Deon. Okay, I got a good idea. A bear, a honey, and then a bee emoji. If not, you know, just use the honey emoji. The pot of honey. If you know what that means, right? Oh, God. Oh, my God. I'm exhausted. Anyway, pot of honey.